Okay. This is way later on in that evening down here. Way down here. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That right there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Look at that right there. You see that? Them big old beef sausages in there, all up in there right there. Them onion down there. Them great northern beans down there. Mmm. And you can smell it. Mixing it in with that hickory right there. It's all good right there. That's good right there. That's good. That's how you make it right there. That's how it's made. Woo. That's how it's made right there.
Hello, Mr. Barfield, or is this Antonio? Who am I speaking with?
You're speaking of some hybrid of the two. Hey, I tell you this, I'm making a video in the background. Okay, so like I sent you a picture of some beans cooking in a Dutch oven. Okay, and listen to that for just now. Some of the video is narrated by Antonio, and he switches back and forth there for a minute. He said the whole premise of this bean cooking is how we did it back in the homeland. Of course, we're not talking about the sophisticated American stuff. We're talking about Antonio's homeland. But yeah, so that's what we're doing in the background, And of course,
hot dog. Absolutely. I mean, hey, the last time I actually used a cast iron Dutch oven in a fire was it was at the old Gale camp. I mean, it was like a bunch of kids, and it was like a Boy Scout or Girl Scout type thing. And yeah, you made camp stew. That's what I always called it, camp stew. Is that what you're making?
That's exactly it. Of course, it turns into a gravy. You could cook like people all through the years, and because I studied these Dutch ovens. Okay, I went back and looked. It's not just since the Iron Age, and actually way before that, people have been basically using the same concept, different kinds of materials. So you get this thing, and it gets real hot, and you bury it, and you let it cook real slow. Fast at first, maybe, but then it kind of slows down. You just let it go. You don't really build your fire up any after a certain point. You just let it go. You bury it underground. I got mine buried in coals. So I'm trying to speed up the cooking process some. But I'm not going to lose any nativity because I'm going to move it out to the rock on the edge. I got a couple of flat rocks I have to move it to. And then when I get it there, I'll get that Dutch oven and I'll spin it in a circle over the course of a couple hours. Around the circle, and I'll get each side.
So this kind of feeds back to our earlier conversation of, the first people in Arkansas, the way they cooked and stuff. Is that what you're trying to re-experience? I'm just asking,
Well, I've always loved the whole, they call it Native American, but then if you look in Europe, it was the same thing. It's like, earlier peoples, there's the evolution of cooking. And of course, sometimes it goes in circles. And where we're at right now, for me, is in a circle. I mean, you get this stuff, it's not this fast cooked stuff that you get inside of these quote unquote fast food restaurants. Example of their fucking name. Excuse my language, but they're there to fry stuff real fast and get it to you. But what I'm cooking right now, you can't cook fast. There's absolutely no. I said a little bit ago I was speeding it up some, but I'm not. I'm just getting it to that point to where then I can slow it down. It's like rice. There's a lot of things you got to bring to a boil, and then you slow it down. You cook it on low for a long time after that. Let it simmer, and you let it sit there.
Low and slow, brother. Hey, that is the thing with beans. Hey, we had a conversation earlier about beans, low and slow. The same thing with camp stew is low and slow. If you try to hurry it too much, you end up with burnt shit on the bottom. But you know what? That stuff is still delicious because it was cooked in the coals. It's amazing how it changes, how it tastes because of where you actually did it. Hey, we had a catfish fry recently, and I loved it, and I want to have another one soon. because it tasted so much better because there was interaction, there was campfire stories. I mean, y'all was, I say y'all, but, you know, that's Mrs. D and a few friends, and y'all were having all great conversations. And that is the interaction that I would love to have again, which is where it comes from, camp stew. You can't say it smells like canned stew when camp stew smells so very well.
Well, exactly, and of course, it's a little bit easier to cook when you're frying fish. You know, and like with me, I'm not really much on frying. Okay, but there's something a little bit out of my wheelhouse. I'm not real good at it. And like, you know, if everybody wants to fry fish, I'll grill them. I'll indirect heat and smoke them, but I'm not going to be able to fry them because I'm not a fry daddy. Okay, I am a slow cooker. Look here. You come over here at my house.
I'm with you, brother. 100%. You are not a fry daddy, okay?
I'm not a fry daddy. No, I'm not a fry daddy. And like I said, I like it slow and low. You know, I'll take you down tonight.
Hey, slow and low. That's all that needs to be said. But
well, you know,
hey, I understand what you're saying with the, you know, that Dutch oven thing. That's, you're using that fire, and that's going to be a great meal. It's going to turn into a creamy gravy. Maybe you pour over biscuits or some potatoes. But it's the act of going back to the dig cast we had. It's touching nature. It's, you cook this here, and you're going to eat it, and it's going to be awesome. Do you not agree?
Oh, yeah, and I'm adding stuff along the way. It's going to be a stew before you get there, you know. But now it starts out as one thing because beans take a long to cook, specifically if you brand them up from the dry steak, okay? So now I can add anything. It's going to make a gravy, and the slower I grow it, I cook it, I grow it, you know, I grow it from where it's at now to up where it needs to be at. It's going to be, you know, you know, I got to keep water to it. I got to add additional things to it. Right. My next thing to put in there is some onion. I'm gonna get that little Cajun. I'm gonna put that onion.
Yeah. Throw you some onion. Well, let me just back up just for a moment and let me clarify. The camp stew is totally different from the beans. You were making beans and cornbread, and hey, dude, I have broke my beans out and got my crock pot because I'm making my own set of beans. I got to let them soak overnight, etc. But camp stew is kind of like the old New York City.
Hold on. And I know where you're going to go with this because I know exactly what you're trying to say because there's many variations of it. But now you're trying to describe your version of it. I'm telling you, there's many. It's a camp stew. It's all the same thing. You could put tomatoes and potatoes. You could put meat, beef. You can do anything you want to. Like I said, at the very beginning of it, if people listen to what I said, this thing in some areas was lasagna. In some places it was rabbit stick. In some places it was like a mulligan at my count. It was squirrel.
Remember the old days. New York City.
Yeah. So yeah,
that
for
was
everybody, the ingredients the ingredients change from time to time and whatever's locally available. So whatever I'm going to put in my stew tonight is going to be, but I'm going to tell you this though, Don, I'm telling you, if you're going to cook beans, they're going to have to be there a little bit longer if you go from dry. Your beans is where your base of your whole thing's at. Once you get your beans going, because I'm going to put beans in everything because I'm a Native American. You got three things you got to have in there. What is it? You got to have a little bit of tomato. There's going to be before this is done, I'm going to have a can of Rotel put in this thing.
Yeah, and a little jalapeno. Don't forget the jalapeno for the little bit of heat.
Well, you know, I've already got Tony's in it, and of course, you know, I got some cayenne over there. But now I gotta slow that down because there's going to be all kinds of people eating it. And this here is not just 1 pound of beans. This is 2 pounds of beans in there. There's a lot of beans in that. People don't understand how big that Dutch oven is. But that's not just some little thing you put on your oven in there inside your house. This is something that's probably, you know, it's a 12-inch pot. You know, so it's pretty big. And you know, when you get something that's cast iron, which holds that heat for a long time. In fact, okay, so I'm gonna let you take over for just a second and tell more experiences about it, because I just been doing it for 52 years, and you've been doing it for 52 years, and it's that big circle. We're both gonna take wax out of it, and nothing that I say is making his wrong, and his won't make mine wrong. It's just different ways of doing it. But now, Donald,
there you go. It's all perspective. Oh, wait, there's a callback to earlier, perspective.
That's right. That's what I've been trying to say, is that your stew, one man's fucking trash is another man's treasure. So, like, your version of a stew is different from somebody else's who was raised different. But it's all the same thing. It's all cooked the same fucking way. It's got different ingredients. It's all around the fucking world. Anyway, carry on, my wayward son. Carry on.
Oh, no. I mean, hey, I was just saying I would love to try your camp stew. I mean, believe me, that's an old school way of cooking that I've only done a couple times. And again, it was during a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout or some type of thing in our local area at the Gale camp. And I made a Dutch oven stew, in the grains. And, hey, it burnt. But those kids ate that crap up. They loved it. Now, that was probably 20 years ago, but, hey, you add what you need to, man. I mean, again, it's the experience of cooking in coals. That's a little bit of a hard thing. It's almost like grilling or frying fish. You got to have that idea about it. I messed up the first time I did the Dutch oven thing. I put that dang big old cast iron pot in the coals, and all those potatoes got burned on the bottom, but those kids ate it up because it did turn into a little bit of a gravy in a lot of ways, but it's just the experience of trying it.
See, here's what I was trying to tell you earlier. See,
go ahead.
All really great long-term campfire stews. It's not usually a stew, it's a campfire meal. Okay, it's cooked it's a Dutch oven cooking. Let's just talk that, because it's none of the shit we've been talking about. It's anything you got across the land. The number one ingredient is water. When I started this thing out today, I put in 9 bottles of water. Okay, and then I put in 2 pounds of beans, because beans are going to be a part of whether I cook a beef stew. It's going to be a part if I cook a chili. It's going to be a part of whatever I cook. I want to cook that, okay? I want to have beans as a part of it. Now, today I'm choosing to go with the Great Northern beans, and I can make it a red chili if I wanted to. I don't have to. I can do anything I want to with it. And I could put in beef to it. But I have chosen beef, which is beef, sausage, which I cooked on top of the Dutch oven while it was sitting there in the coals. And I haven't had anything burned because of the fact that I'm cooking those beans first inside that water. And you keep that water...
let me just ask this, just real quick. You chose beef, right?
Yeah.
Hey, beans require 24 hours. If you want to make great beans, you got to let them soak for a little while. You got to rehydrate them, and then you put them in that little crock pot, and you can make the best cornbread and pinto beans or Great Northerns. At the moment, that's what, you're using. But beans are, they got to be treated right.
Well, but again, though, it doesn't make a difference, because I'm going to be making chili with this same setup here next week, except I'm not going to be using hickory, because I'm using the last of the hickory I have cut down right now on the show here. And see, and that's the deal, too. Whatever, the beginning of this is the foundation. Whatever I build here, you got to have a good foundation in your beans. Whatever it is you put in there is your rice, beans, whatever it is that you have as your base, it's got to be cooked right. And it's got to, if you're going to add other stuff, and you're going to let it soak over time, you're going to get those other flavors added in there, and you're going to get those
absolutely.
Then
I mean, see, that's Southern cooking. That's Southern 101 cooking. You got to treat your beans the correct way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, everybody always somebody, I got to do that. No, you ain't going to do a goddamn thing. It's like, Samuel L. Jackson from Pulp Fiction. You're not going to do a goddamn thing until you get those beans or that rice cooked. And most of the time in the South, you got to have both. And I'm going to cook my rice right, too. I ain't going to hurry the shit. And if the rice I get, if it has, like, I'm used to cooking, 1 cup of rice and 2 cups of water, and that's something that says do 1 cup of rice and 2 1/3 cup of water for that kind of rice, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to follow those fucking directions because somebody has done the research to figure out them beans right there and that rice right there cooked like a certain way. So you got to get this thing cooked right. So it's like you got to go a little bit of custom because it's a texture they're trying to get you to go to. And like the texture that I'm trying to get people to go to is a slow-cooked, mushy, and we don't know where it's at right now. Like I said, right now, it's not just beans. I mean, I've already got some Tonys in there. I'm going to be making gravy with my beans and my water.
Oh, yeah, believe me. I'm waiting for the picture of cream potatoes and that camp gravy. I'm waiting for it. Oh, that's going to be so good.
Oh, and you know, and the thing of it is I'm going to cook some hot water cornbread here, probably on this same fire, but I'm going to cook it later on. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be later on tonight, whenever I get ready to eat this right here. If it's tonight, you know, whenever it is, I'm going to cook some hot water cornbread out here too, on this right here. And using that same pot, when I get done cooking this right here, I'm going to get that thing boiling again, and I'm going to cook me a big old pot of hot water cornbread right there, and then I'm going to have a meal. This is my fall time. Everybody come on.
Oh, shit, Brad. Are you sure you don't want me to fuck you or something? I mean, come on. I mean, you're talking dirty to me right now.
I know.
Stop.
This is dirty. this is good because this is
I'm totally joking. I love my brother, but not like that.
Oh no, but yeah, I got you. That there is and that's the thing of it is that, you know, I am not in a fucking hurry. I lived in a hurry. I'm 50-something years old now. If I were 30-something, you caught me, I'd be doing whatever the fuck everybody's talking about doing quick. You get you some charcoal, you get your hamburgers, you turn your motherfuckers over in 2 minutes, you're fucking done. I'm eating it red, I don't give a fuck, because you want to get shit over with. You know, spray on your buzz a little bit and go on to the next beer, you know. But now at my age and your age, I want to eat a good meal, and I want to serve people around me a good meal. Because this right here, what I'm cooking, this is not the whole meal. This is one part of it. We're having people over tomorrow, and we're going to be going bowling. We're going to be working on four-wheelers. We're going to be doing all kinds of things. And this is going to be a small part of that. You know, we're going to cook it today. It's going to rest overnight. We'll get it back out. We'll warm it up. This would be great fucking food tomorrow, man. You know, and then we're going to have a little video here of like cooking. I got it on time lapse, and everything is kind of being recorded there of how this thing goes, of how I go about cooking it. And if somebody wants to do it different, by God, they can go to the .com and get them a .com and make them a .com.
Oh, see, there you go. If you don't like the way it cooks, then you ain't got to eat that crap. But, hey, you're doing it good. I was just commenting on it. Hey, I wish I could actually do that at the moment, but can't. But, hey, you seem to be living the life, my friend.
Well, no, you can do it. You should be over here helping me do it, actually. Helping make this video is what you should be doing. You're all helping me right now. You're on the video with me. But the thing of it is that it's complicated. I've been on the road for a long time, and I'm trying to slow down some. And the only way I know how to do it is to do things that make me slow down. Now, it's still a task because I'm task-oriented. I've got to have a goal. I mean, I cannot fucking operate in this world without having some kind of a thing in front of me, a carrot. You know, I'm a donkey. You know, if you know me, I'm a bronchi. I'm a donkey. You know, I got a little carrot in front of me. As long as I got a carrot out there, as long as lead me along the way, I'm all right. But, you know.
Yeah, you're definitely a bronchi. You're my brother that is a donkey. I will agree with that.
Well, anyway, so now, you know, we kind of get it all out there, and so let's just dive into it a little bit. So, you know, this is what people did for a long time. This was something that was always cooking, and eventually they brought this stuff inside. Specifically, they figured out how to live in they put this thing under a teepee or inside of a building with these rocks and called it a fireplace and made it bigger than what I have here. But this is what I'm building right here with these rocks that I had to drag here from North Arkansas and had to purchase, because you can't just walk up into a natural reserve and pick them up. You got to go buy them. You got to drag them home. And I got about 900 pounds of shit I had to carry home in my truck. Okay, so you know, and to get this and let me tell you this. These rocks that are here, they're hot right now. This fire literally has been burning for several weeks out here. Through rain and everything, I kept pouring the wood too. I had plenty out here for all the storms we've had in 2023. So this thing is just burning and burning and burning. and we have lots of hardwood and mixing in other stuff with it. And but now you got some pecan back there. What'd you ever figure out to do with your pecan? We need to cook some of that pecan, like a few pieces of it one day, don't we?
Oh, it's still just laying there. I mean, hey, the folks that we rent the hayfield to, they came and collected all the bales and shoved most of that pecan wood that was planned to burn in the middle of the field back up under my pecan tree. So I still got to cut it up, haul it off, but now I've still got this great carving that our buddy, Danny, has done, and I still want to cut it off and carry it to him, and I want him to finish it.
Hold on. Don't haul it off. Let me come over here with my chainsaw and cut it up little pieces at a time and carry it home and we'll cook with it.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm just saying I was at the point that I've just got to cut it off, cut it up and haul it off or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I planned on burning it because it was a whole tree. Our buddy Danny was carving a carving, and he's not quite finished with it, but it looks fabulous. And, hey, my pecans are actually growing better. I've got way more in the yard. I'm sitting there going, damn, these pecans are good, paper shell pecans. But I do have pecan wood that I need to remove from my location. If you want to come cut it up and have it, brother, you come get it.
Well, the thing of it is that, I wanted if I could share it with you. My thing is if I can get time with people like this hickory right here, I have spent so much time with my boys and their friends out here around this fire in the past month or so, burning this one tree. This is the last of it right here. This is a huge ass tree. This is an 80-foot tall tree. It had like a 2.5, 3-foot trunk, and now we're burning kind of a, middle, like the part of the bat that you hit with a smaller, but not the smallest, not the biggest. And it's all going right now. I got one more piece over there that's not in the fire. But now this is the last bit of food. It's kind of like a popcorn something. This is my last run with hickory right here. This is the last run this hickory's ever going to cook right here. Here we go.
Yeah. Well, I've got plenty of pecan wood if you want to come get it, brother. I'm telling you. The folks we rent the hayfield to, they came by and they picked up all the bales. And the last tree that fell, and hey, after Danny cut, our buddy, cut the tree down and stuff, I drug it out in the field to burn it away, and then they shoved it back up into the field. So I guess they'll have to drag it back out, unless you want to come get it, because it is 100% pecan.
Okay, but now didn't he start that before his surgery? He had some surgeries back in the
Yes, he started it very early. He just, again, it's why I'm saying I would almost be better just cutting it off and letting him finish it, because he has done a fabulous job in carving this. It's just, it's 20 minutes away from his house in Louisiana. And, he can't come finish it. So I would love to just cut it off, carry it to him, let him finish it, because it is a magnificent carving. I mean, truly. He's slowly splitting like pecan wood does, and it just makes him look better. And he's got ivy on him. Oh, he had mushrooms growing out of his head. I sent y'all pictures of mushrooms growing out that man's head.
Yeah, that and that pecan wood, as it ages, and specifically if he puts any kind of a clear coat, or you put any kind of clear coat on it, you need to keep that.
That's what I kind of want to do, is clear coat it, and I don't want to change the color. It's aged, but it cracks like pecan wood does, But I want to finish that carving. I want to give him the opportunity to finish making this piece of wood exactly what he saw, because he's done a fabulous job starting. He just ain't in a position to come here and finish it. That's why I would love to cut it off, carry it to him, and say, please finish
now,
this.
I think you need to, unless it will ruin, will it ruin? Because he'll be able to get back up there. It's just a busy time of year for somebody who's doing carving, because I think he's got 2 or 3 projects he's got to work on.
I mean, he would eventually. I'm just trying to help him. In terms of, if I can bring it to you and let you finish this, I'm willing to do it, because he came up here and he cut my tree, and hey, you saw the video, and believe me, 3 trunks together, that was a very hard cut. And I needed someone more experienced, and I got him up here, and he cut the tree, and he started carving it. He actually saved me a bunch. So if I could cut it off and let him finish seeing the spirit in the wood, which is what he called it. At one point, he made a comment about this spirit in this wood. And I said, well, then bring it out. And he told me about it, which is why I'm saying it's like, hey, if I can have him bring that out, I would love to do that. Even if it means me cutting it off, carrying it to him, and let him finish it, because it's a beautiful carving. But, yes, I'm going to feel those cracks. I was already thinking today, it's like, I need to get me some epoxy and feel those cracks.
Oh, man. I walked into an office the other day that had that epoxy in there with some wood, and it was a log split in half. And the top, the flat part split in half was up. And it had, in the middle there, it had that epoxy filled in there, and then you could see the whole definition in like stereo, I guess you could call it. 2 sides of it, that thing's live. And that tree, a lot of these trees are old. I mean, they've connected everything they grew. It's the same thing we grow from. They're land graces. They're like right here. They change as whatever changes around them. If it's like where we're at, there's plenty of water. We're in, the river valleys and stuff here, and trees get big, but you drop down over there to, those plains out there in Texas, and there's little bitty trees, or in that delta, there's little bitty trees, but we're in that little sweet spot, that golden spot for trees. And I'm going to tell you this right now, I can't say too much, but I have said a few things to you, but I feel very good about, CrossFit coming back online as, the forestry capital of the South. We kind of lost our recognition there for a while, but I'm telling you, man, it's coming back, and it's going to be, we have a lot of natural resources in our area,
I will agree with you. I talked to one of the Coopers. I ain't going to say his name, but, it was a mechanic out there. It wasn't the Cooper you probably know. But either way, and they were saying they were going to hire back 2 or 3 more mechanics. See, that made me feel good, too. I mean, CrossFit is kind of coming back, but at the same time, we ain't the powerhouse we used to be, but it's still a town worth investing in.
Well,
my opinion only.
Well, you're just talking about some things that I'm not even talking about, but you'll find out about it soon, because there's a lot of good things coming from CrossFit, I can assure you, right now, because there are people already investing back in our town. They see other people investing in our town, people that are living here investing in the town. We have a great mayor. We have all kinds of great things in our town. I love it. I love it. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, no, I can tell. I mean, hey, you're very involved.
Well,
you are very involved, and hey, I can appreciate that.
Well, there's a lot of pine trees in our area, and of course, I even have some pine trees. And right now, if you're going to sell a pine tree, you got to carry it 60 miles. But there's about to be some change in how far you got to carry it, So, and at first there may be a little bit of challenges here and there, and getting everything going. But I'm going to tell you right now, whenever this stuff rolls in, it's going to be going, and it's going to be,
Do what? They're going to say, do what?
Hey, whenever it comes in, it's going to be some good trees around. It's going to be some.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's going to go, do what?
Well, I mean, it's it's already, it's really
sorry,
out there.
My dog's barking.
Well, if you're going to live in the South, you got to have a dog. If you ain't got a dog, it's kind of like that. I was talking to this guy the other day. I was like, hey, man, you got a knife? He said, hell yeah, I got a knife. Of course, he looked at me funny, and he said, I was told a long time ago, if you ain't got a knife, you got a purse. He said, where's your purse? I said, dude, just let me borrow your fucking knife, okay? Anyway, so that there is like, kind of an Arkansas thing, You ever been told something like that, Donald?
Oh, yeah. I've always been told, like, you from the South, aren't you? If you can't tell by my accent, yes, I am deep South. But I ain't a dumbass. And I think that's kind of where that is most folks hear that accent and they think, oh, you're just that damn stupid. Oh, wait, I'm getting gas delivered. I got to go and let them give me some propane for the winter. I'll talk to you in a little bit, brother.
Hey, man, but yeah, let me say this before you go.
Come on, go ahead. Let's finish it out.
I don't think that everybody views us like that anymore because they're jealous what we got now. Hey, be safe, brother. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Hey, not a problem. I just want to get my dang diesel or propane or whatever.
It's a family, all everybody's told.